I'm James Keeble. I'm a director here at British Millerain. I've been working here for just over 8 years now, and I oversee all the commercial side of the business, product development I'm involved with as well. Yeah, that's me.
Thanks. And can you tell me a bit about British Millerain as a company?
Yes, we've been established since 1880. We're still a family business, so we have the sixth generation of the Miller family involved with the business now. We primarily dye and finish cotton, so that's the core of our business, and that's mainly for apparel and accessories, for outerwear. But we also have an industrial and military canvas side of the business as well. We're based out of Rochdale in the UK, and that's where our head office is. We also have a dye facility at Elland in West Yorkshire, and we have, over the last sort of 2 years in particular, we've invested heavily in new machinery, new equipment, new processes for finishing, and we're also extending the site that we're in currently at Rochdale.
Can you tell me a bit about some of the brands that you work with, any of the customers, where might we see some of your fabrics?
Yeah, if you look on Google and Google wax cotton jacket, there's a very, very good chance that it's one of ours, and that's across the UK, Europe, US. We work with major outerwear brands, some high-end fashion brands also, lifestyle brands, yeah, all over the show. small companies, large companies.
What are some of the newer things relating to sort of sustainability, innovation, different ways of doing things that you've been?
So yeah, we sort of saw this trend emerging quite a few years back, and we started not only adapting in-house to be more efficient from an energy and water use perspective, but we've also been investing quite heavily in R&D of new products. So some of the developments that we've got, which have launched recently, are PFC free zero water repellent finishes. So these don't contain any of the perfluorinated compounds that are quite controversial, the C6 and C8 compounds. We also have some natural waxes within the collection now, some vegetable wax cottons. So these, unlike the traditional wax, which is petroleum based, these are sourced from sustainable vegetable crops.
Tell me about sort of manufacturing in the UK. What does that mean to some of the customers that you work with, and how important is it that they can come down and have a look at the mill, for example? Or
we get quite a lot of requests, well, prior to COVID, to visit and look around the mill. Yeah, it's really important to a lot of our customer base to know that it's manufactured here in the UK. We also we talk more about the history of our mill and what's involved, and where we source the cotton from. We're very transparent with that, and the fact that we source cotton from the Better Cotton Initiative, from mills registered with that programme. So that's all about teaching cotton farmers about the sustainability aspect of growing cotton. We also source organic and recycled cotton. Customers like to see that full story, full transparency of the supply chain, and the fact that we're doing it, we're dyeing and finishing here in the UK as well. And they love the idea of filming the processes, or filming and taking images and seeing pictures of the fabric going through the various machinery. So yeah, it's quite a big deal for a lot of our customers now.
Okay, did you want to talk me through some of the newer fabrics that you're developing?
Yes, I can put you on to my colleague in the sales team, Adam Getty. So he's brought with him some of the newest.
Hi, Adam.
From anyone using or owning a waxed cotton garment, they know that obviously it's quite a wet sort of wet handle product. What we've seen is a trend to a bit more commercial, and people wanting to wash their garment, they wanting to not have the stickiness on the sort of the outer of the fabric. Obviously there's quite a big British brand who are well known for waxed cotton in general. What we're trying to target with this new fabric, that our Tekwax Ranger product, is more sort of a commercial sort of outlook. It's dry handle. It still has the same performance. It has the aspect of an aged effect, sort of when handled. So it still has the same sort of aesthetical sort of looks as a wax cotton, gives you the sort of the heritage look, which obviously British Millerain are known for. But you've got the added benefit of it being machine washable. You can cool iron, you can use the tumble, so it's got the flexibility what the end consumer is looking for when they're buying an outerwear fabric. So it's a sort of a modern take on a traditional textile. We've also, not only that, obviously we like the dry handle. We've taken the traditional wet look wax, developed a blended wax, which is sort of unique to British Millerain, and been able to create a cloth which is machine washable, but still has the wet handle of a sort of a normal wax cotton. It's the next one, as James mentioned previously, is a wax derived from a vegetable. So whereas the normal sort of wax, which has been going for over 100 years, is petroleum based, we've then developed a wax cotton which is sort of sustainable in its nature, but obviously it's become from a vegetable. The wax itself gives you the same performance, water repellent properties. You can the handle's the same. The only the only difference you see, I don't know if you can pick it up on the Zoom meeting, it's better in person, but the actual patina and the pattern it creates is quite unique to each wearer. So each wearer of the garment will have a different look. So it's almost a story behind the story. So you've got a British made fabric, it's sustainable in its nature, BCI cotton, you've got a vegetable wax on there, and you're also getting the same performance as you would from a normal petroleum based wax. But again, which goes into our sort of commitment to sort of how we're producing fabrics. Sustainability is right at the core of what we're trying to do. I'll put it back onto James.
Can you tell me a bit about some of the processes that we might see at the mill then?
We're best known for wax cotton, and that is really at the core of what we do for the outerwear market. We've been in that for sort of 100 years now, right at the very beginning of that trend. We've evolved that over the years. The different finishes Adam just spoke about, drier but sustainable finishes. In terms of how that's made, we bring the cotton in from our suppliers that we've worked with for many years, and that's, as Adam said, BCI recycled cotton, organic cotton. We take that into the dye house and we prep that fabric, wash it down ready for dye, make sure that it's all prepared to take up the dye stuff. That's dyed on site at our Elland plant, our Elland facility. After dyeing, it's brought across to Rochdale, and that can either be coated. So we've got various different coating lines at the Rochdale site. This is new machinery as well that we installed about 2 years ago. And that can be a coated wax or a non-wax finish, a water repellent finish. And then after dyeing, it could also go into the traditional wax process, which is basically where you've got a bath of molten wax, and the cloth is passed through, the dyed fabric's passed through that bath under temperature and pressure, and out the other end you get a fully waxed cotton. So that's rolled up and inspected then and cut down into the rolls, and that can either go into our stock program. So we do run a stock program for a lot of our core fabrics, or that is picked and packed and sent straight out for a customer order.
And obviously, a lot of the processes within what you do will be very specialised, very skilled. Tell me about some of the people who work for you. Have they been with you a long time? How do they gain those skills?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mixture really, but we do have several members of staff who've been here sort of 20 years or more. One of them actually keeps reminding me she's been here 30 years. But we have had staff leave as well in the past and then come back 10 years later. On top of that, we've got new apprentices that we've taken on recently in the lab. So they're learning about the R&D side, the product development side, the lab dip process as well. So we can have customers send us a cutting that they'd like us to match to. They can develop the lab dip in the lab for that. So it's a mixture really, a combination of staff that have been here a very long time and completely new staff straight out of college or university.
Obviously, the UK is a big market for you, but exports as well.
Yeah, so the UK is probably around 30 to 40% of our sales. So we also have big export markets into European top five and USA as well, and a little bit to Canada. So yeah, it's all over the place. So we do sell out into Argentina, for example, and South Africa. So yeah, a bit of a mix really.
What do you think? What do you think is particularly distinctive about the British textile industry?
The UK is probably around 30 to 40% of our sales. So we also have big export markets into European top five and USA as well, and a little bit to Canada. So into Argentina, for example, and South Africa. So yeah, a bit of a mix really.
As soon as they see the sort of the Made in Britain sort of label or tag, I mean, especially in the Far East, it's seen as top quality and worth. Sometimes, obviously, a lot of fabrics go into really expensive garments, and if it's a British made fabric, there's not only the story, but it's the like I say, the quality, which is we're renowned for.
And you're kind of set up for it, that it's in your name.
This year, we're really pleased to be celebrating 140 years of manufacturing in the UK. And that, as I said earlier, is the sixth generation of the Miller family who still own and run the company. We did have a load of banners and bunting ready for our various exhibition stands this year, but unfortunately they've all been cancelled. So yeah, we'll be shouting out over social media throughout the year about that, and looking back at some of our historic documents we've got here. We've got images of the original founders, various images of our factories from the early 1900s. So that's something we're going to be talking about over the remaining few months of the year.
It's a really strong story, isn't it now?
Yes, yeah. It's something we're all proud of.